giddy up, yee-ho, it's a timber. Good afternoon, hobbyists and enthusiasts. My name's Alan and welcome to another instalment of the Hobby Horse. Now, just to skip back to when I was rummaging through this box, found my holy grail. This means that I don't have to make a crosscut sled. I can simply attach this and use it. But it doesn't stop there. I'm going to take this mitre gauge, attach a board to it, and then attach a stop block to that board. I also found in my mysterious box these gadgets here. Now, one is a side pressure finger that attaches to this, and that attaches to my table saw. This one here is a captive push stick, which allows me to, after the wood has slid past, to push it and it catches it. Nifty, eh? Sometimes genius is in its simplicity. So first off, we're going to test out this side pressure finger and this captive push stick. Then we'll check out how good this thing can cross cut, and if the degrees on here for 90 degrees are actually 90 degrees. But before we do that, we're going to have to prep a plank of wood. So actually the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to run my piece of timber through the thicknesser, and then I'm going to make up a jig that can cut one edge straight, so then we can cut a second edge straight. And I'm going to do all that using all of this. Now, it's currently sitting at 25 mil wide, and I'll probably end up taking this down to about 23 mil. So we've smoothed out both those sides. To cut this nice and straight along one edge here, I'm going to pick a length and then I'm going to screw it in. Screw it in at this end, we're screwed in at that end. Got a nice straight edge to run across the rail, 113 mil. So there we are at 112. Slots here to allow it to go in, and we're going to rotate that until it's going to make contact with the wood. So it's pushing the piece of timber towards the rail right where it's about to be cut, and twist that there, and now that doesn't move. And that simply sits in like that. So now I'm going to take the piece of wood with this nice straight edge that will run along the edge here. We've got one edge cut nice and straight all the way through. Remove these screws like so. That's 105 at that end, and it's 95 at this end. We're going to set the table saw to 95 mil, and we're going to rip this uncut edge. And hopefully what we'll end up with is a piece of perfectly straight timber. We're just going to check the width. It's just under 95 mil. I'm not going to worry about that too much now, because if everything I made was less than half a mil out in accuracy, I would be pretty happy. I might change that opinion later on as I get better. So I've done all four sides. I haven't done each of these ends. We're going to set this to 0 and lock that. So because we want that to slide, we're going to lock it so it's unlocked. Just check it for square. That's pretty good. And that's perfect. So now I've got a table saw that can cut any degree mitres, and it's a cross-cut saw. I want to show you another neat trick. So I'm going to remove this, get it out of the way. Drag this across. This is unpredictable and I haven't used it before. I'm definitely going to align these so I can put the safety guard in. And it's perfect. You always think there's no problems with dust until you get it kick up in your face. Are we ready for business? Are we ready for business or what? So essentially, by just clamping this runner along the back, I've managed to maintain a nice cut all the way along. Very happy with what this thing can do. So the tests have worked really well with a little bit of tenacity and understanding. It definitely can get them to be square and quite reliable. So let's get underway. And I'm going to trace to this edge, and I'll trace around the holes, mark that there, and I'll cut that one off square. Now I've lined up the back by applying the square here. So I've chosen the end, so when I screw them in, they're pulling against each other, so there'll be no movement. I have got these little wing nuts, got these bolts. So I'm going to route around each of the edges with this round over piece here. Alright, that looks good. Screws. Cure it with these wing nuts. I've got this nice cut where the blade went through. So I'll draw a line straight up and then that'll give my mark for 0. What I'm doing now is dismantling this. I knew this dilemma was coming and I thought I'll make it up as I go along. My tape measure's curved and my timber's flat. So I've got that round head there, sit at the same distance in. That's perfect. Oh, I unplugged it for safety and I tricked myself. Ah! All right, so that wasn't cool. So I unplugged it for safety, plugged it in and nearly died. Well, it's not big enough, is it? There we go. It's probably one of the most crucial parts of the process. And there we have it. One cross-cut backboard with a measuring tape on it. There we go. Alright, so now that I've used almost every tool in my workshop to create this beautiful plank of wood, which I incidentally also attached a ruler to, I'm now going to make a stop block so that I can do some repeat cuts with ease. In order to do this, I'm going to attach the board to the mitre gauge and place it on the table. And now we've got a sliding mitre gauge. Make sure this works. I'm just going to give it a quick run. Cut this piece of timber off square. And that is perfectly square. So it's good I can rely on the protractor here. This is my stockpile of pallet wood. I actually have a couple of pieces I've cut down. So I'm going to try and actually endeavour to use those. These 3 pieces of timber and that bolt with the wing nut are going to form my stop block. How this is going to work, longest one sits on the front, this one here is fixed like that, and this bolt clamps it together here, pinching it just there. I am not going to mess around, I'm going to screw these 3 together. So here's the moment of truth. So it's just designed to sit on like that. And then I clamp this. And look at that, rock solid. It's as solid as this. All right, so I made this wood and I put this ruler on it. So that slides up and down there. And then if you want to cut something to 20 centimeters, put that there, twist that, and then you just get your piece of wood, slide it up so it hits that, cut it off.
You're genius.
If you think you're a bargain hunter and you've got some scores, you haven't scored anything until you've got one of these for a total cost of $2.
You made it this far and you like what you see. You want some more, so you give a thumbs up to me. You can't get enough and you're wondering if it's time. Well, subscribe to my channel and listen for that chime.